Hey guys, now it's time to continue our discussion about collections, and in this video we're gonna look at sets. So let's open IntelliJ IDE. So what is a set? A set is a collection of elements which cannot contain duplicates. And to create a set, you simply type set, the interface, then in angle brackets we specify what kind of data this set is gonna hold, which is gonna be strings. I'm gonna call it names. I'm gonna import that, and it's gonna be equal to new. And the actual implementation of a set is a HasSet. HasSet, semicolon. Now I'm going to type here names dot to add elements to this. So I'm going to use the add method. Let's say name1. Let's press Ctrl D. Let's put here name2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let's loop through those elements. I'm going to type here a for each loop for string name in names. We're gonna SOUT the name. So let's run this. We get name 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we have our elements that we added here. But if I add another element 5 here, now if I run this, you will not see the element here because it is not allowing duplicates. Alright, so as you can see, the element 5 is not added twice. But now you may be wondering how it's doing this thing, how it makes sure that you don't have duplicates. It's doing that using the method equals to defined inside the object class from which all classes are inheriting from. So the object class is the class from which all other objects are inheriting, and because the set the set is inheriting from that object class, it provides an implementation. It provides an implementation of the equals method, and it's checking to see if two strings are the same. But if I create my own class, so if I type here, let me show you. So if I type here class user, let's type private string name and private int age. Let's create a constructor. So let's create a constructor. Let's type public user string name int age. I'm gonna type this dot name equals to name, this dot age equals to age, semicolon. Now if I go up here, let's say that I delete those elements and I put here instead of strings, I will put user. So I'm gonna type user. It's gonna be users, and let's create some users here. I'm gonna type users dot add, and I'll create a new user here. User1 is gonna have an age 24, and let's press Ctrl D a few times. Let's put user 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, now let's create another for. So I'm gonna type here for user in our users. I'm gonna type here SOUT user dot name, not notify all, name. Oh, I need to provide getters and setters. So let me go here, Ctrl O. So let's right click, let's go to generate, getter and setter. Okay. Let's go here. Now user dot get name. Let's put a plus. Let's put age plus user.age, user.getAge. Let's put also here name. All right, let's run this. Get name user, and let's push this a little bit. Let's run it again. Have name user 1 age 24, name user 4 age 24, and so on. Now look what happens if I add another user 5 with age 24. Look what happens. So if I run this, get user 5 2 times. So now we have a duplicate. So why we have a duplicate? Because we said that sets can only contain unique elements. This is because they do not compare equal. We need to override the equal to method inside our user class, and we need to provide an implementation of how objects, user objects, are gonna compare equal. So what is the logic for equality for two user objects? So how we're gonna determine that? Because if you go down here, now it's just performing a simple referential equality. So if both objects point to the same address in memory, they are equal. So if I type here object dot, I can't, so object, let me say, let's type here Alex dot equals, let's say Alex. Let's hold control and let's click on the equals. And previously we didn't have duplicates because the string class has overridden the equals method from the object, and it provided its own implementation to check to see if two strings are the same. But in our class that we have here, we don't have an equals to overridden, so it does not perform equals. So what we need to do is to go inside our user class, and if I go here, I'm gonna go to generate. And as you can see, if I go to generate, we have getter and setter, and we have equals and hash code. So let's click on next. And now it will generate the equals and hash code for those fields if you want, but let me do it myself. So let's click on next, let's click on create. And as you can see, it already created this for us. But let me do it myself. So I'm gonna type here if, let's say, and here I will type if this, so if this is the same reference as object, so let's change this to user, let's say, then means that we have the same object, so we're comparing to itself. So I'm gonna put curly braces, return true, semicolon. Then I'm gonna type here if user equals null. So if we didn't pass anything, or we pass null, or I'm gonna type get class is not equal to user that get class, so it's a different class. Then I'm gonna return false, semicolon. Now I'll go down here and I'll type user equals to, and now I'm gonna cast. So this is a good moment to introduce casting. So I can let's call this let's say my user. Now let's see how we can use casting. And you use casting when you want to a certain type of object to be treated as a different type. Not necessarily, casting doesn't work only with objects, but with primitive types too. So I'm gonna type here, I want this user that is passed here, this object user, to be treated as an user object. And to do that, I'm gonna put parentheses, I'll put user, and here I will type user, semicolon. Now I'm gonna type here return my user dot name. If the name of my user is equal with this dot name, and I'm gonna type here my user dot age is equals to user, or let's type this dot age. So let's put a CSAUT here to see that this is called. Let's say equals called. Alright, let's go up and let's try now to loop. So now we are overriding the equals to method, which is going to be used to determine the equality, and we provide our own implementation. So if this equals to user, then we're going to return true because we have the same object. If the user is null or the class is not the same as the object.class, then we're going to return false. We cast our object user here, we cast it as an user to get access to its fields like the name and the age, and we compare it with this dot age and this dot name. So now if I run this, as you can see here we have a duplicate, but now if I run this, look what we see in the output. We get equals called, and we have user 4 age 24, and we have user 3, and now we don't have the duplicate because now, as you can see here, it says equals called. So the method that we overrid in our class, it was called, and it compared equal with using our logic that we define here. It compared equal with the user2 that we had that we have here, and it didn't add that duplicate. Alright, this is our discussion about equals. I'm gonna make a separate video in which I'm gonna explain more in detail how you can use the equals and also hash code, because we have the hash code also here generated. But one rule to know is that whenever two objects compare equal, they must have the same hash code. So here you can put, let's say, return 0 semicolon, and everything will work the same. Look, so if I run this, as you can see, we have equals called many times, and we have user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, I'm gonna end this video here and see you in the next video.